Relative clauses. A relative clause is one type of subordinate clause that we can use within a complex sentence. It adds further information to the main clause. A relative clause usually starts with a relative pronoun. Let's find out what these are. One of the following relative pronouns could come at the start of a relative clause. Who, which, where, when, whose, or that. Let's have a look at some of these being used within a sentence. The third man, who had a rotund stomach and a wide face, was roasting pieces of rabbit over the fire. The relative clause can be seen in the centre of the main clause and starts with the relative pronoun who. The relative pronoun who works well here, as the detail is being added about the third man, so it relates to a person. Ilva spotted their sheepskin bedrolls, which were placed beside the fire. This sentence is slightly different because the relative clause is at the end of the sentence. The relative pronoun which works well here because the additional information is about the bedrolls and which can relate to objects. Around the edge of the fire, where the goat man sat, stood helmets, spears and satchels. The relative pronoun where is appropriate here because the sentence is explaining the placement of the items. Halvor, when eating the rabbit, wiped grease from his jaw. The relative pronoun when is correct here because this is when Halvor is completing the action. The goat man, whose teeth were pointed, spat into the fire. The relative pronoun whose works here because the relative clause is adding further information about a person, the goat man. Ilva lied about silver that she could give the brothers. The relative pronoun that can be used when adding information to a person or thing, therefore it works in this context. So remember, relative clauses are a type of subordinate clause adding more information to the main clause. Relative clauses usually start with a relative pronoun. And finally, relative clauses can be placed in the middle of a sentence or at the end.